please stop protesting. That will be the title of this video. So, why? Why should we stop protesting as an American people for the injustices that go on in this country? Well, in order to fully explain why you shouldn't protest, I have to kind of set up the stage. So let's say hypothetically you have three groups of people, right? You have group A, the minority group, whatever that minority group may be in your own mind. And then you have group B, the majority. And the country that you live in has a history of abusing the minority. So, and the majority is aware of this. The majority wants to do its best to rectify these past wrongs. But you have a third group as well. And the third group, Group C, is the group that is in charge of ruling over groups A and B, so to speak. So this group has to keep order and make sure groups A and B, get along just fine, or whatever the case may be, right? Now, in this particular example, Group C, or I guess I should say, in our real world example, Group A would be African Americans, other minority groups. Group B would be white America, and Group C would be the government, the elite, the people who wish to rule over. I don't want to say the government specifically, because I don't think everyone in government seeks to rule over us, but there is a group of people that does seek to rule over us. And the way that they do that is they have to make sure that groups A and groups B, minorities and the majority, are always constantly bickering and fighting. If that group A and B comes together to become one group A, then group A would easily see, or I should say, if A and B come together and create group D, right? Group D would easily see easily be able to see what group C was trying to do and trying to keep them in control, right? It's like, here's the thing, and not everyone is going to understand this. Only a very select few people will understand this, but you'll know who you are. When you grow up around people of different races, ethnicities, religious backgrounds, you understand that all of those things are just an aspect of that person's personality or that person's upbringing. You don't see that person's view as an attack on you because you guys were neighbors. You grew up together. You have a respect for one another, right? For me, I grew up in a place in Long Island called South Hempstead. And South Hempstead is probably one of the most diverse places on Long Island in the entirety of Long Island. Now, someone else can, you can try to refute that if you want, but it's a very diverse place. And growing up in a diverse place like that, you understand that people aren't doing the things they do because of race. There aren't white people that hate black people just because of the color of their skin. There are white people who hate black people because they've been taught that being black or having this color skin gives you certain characteristics, and those particular characteristics would be antagonistic to the person who would accept that racist ideology, right? So if you grew up never seeing a black person, and you grew up with someone telling you black people are evil, watch out for them, then when you finally see a black person, the racist programs that have been implanted in you can play out, right? Now, if you're, let's say, that same white person instead grew up in a household who, for whatever reason, ended up adopting a black child, then what happens? Now that same white person sees black people as his brother. Oh, that's just my brother, right? There are white people that I grew up with who don't look at race the way many people look at it. It's a lot of times when you grow up very diverse, you stop seeing race. You just see that as that's just someone's costume, right? We're all the human character, but we all are wearing different costumes. So it doesn't really make sense to judge someone for their particular costume. You can't. That's their upbringing. That's their genetics. That's their DNA. You can't assume that they are a certain way because of their DNA. You can probably assume more easily that they're a certain way based on where they grew up, because most of the people who grew up in that geographical area tend to be a certain way, right? The issue that America has is that it's so diverse, it's such a melting pot in theory, but in practice, we're all here and we're not intermingling. We're not getting to know our neighbor. You know, we're only getting to know the people that we're told we should get to know, aka the people we grew up with in school usually. But I don't know. I guess what I'm trying to say, you know, with all of that rant is the reason why people are protesting is because they're upset. They're upset that so many injustices happen in the US every year and nothing is done about it. The reason the people who are not the minorities tend to be more indifferent is because the ones that care are sometimes judged for caring. And the ones that don't care because they're just focusing on their own lives, well, we're all humans having a human experience. I personally focus on my own life more often than not. So in order for you to become the best person you're gonna be focusing on yourself, not others, right? What other people are gonna do is on them, as long as it's not gonna infringe on your rights, as long as the things that you do don't infringe on their rights. But the issue is a lot of African American people are very upset about this. And because they're upset about this, it's very easy to trigger that pain within them because they haven't yet forgave their ancestors for being enslaved. They haven't yet forgave the people who have enslaved them. That's why when they see people who look like the people who enslaved them, that creates a dissonance. That creates an issue. Right? I was lucky because I grew up in an environment that had people from both sides. You know, I've had family members who owned slaves, and I've had family members who disdain that. I've had family members who got disowned by their entire family for not agreeing with hating someone based on the color of their skin. So I understand that at a core level, at a deep level. But at the end of the day, if America really truly is going to heal, it's going to be the black people, the black race in this country that has to heal first. Until we heal as a people and forgive those who oppressed us in the past and those who still oppress us today, until we genuinely forgive them, anytime they put something in front of us, we're gonna get upset about it. So here's the thing. These white people who really don't like us for the color of our skin, they don't even have to do anything to us. You know why? Because the third group, Group C, can do it for them, right? If Group C pretends to be Group B and then goes and infringes on Group A's rights, Group A is going to stand up. But Group A thinks it's fighting Group B when Group A is really fighting Group C, the group that is aiming to rule the entirety of the group. So that's pretty much what's happening right now. The events of the killing of George Floyd, can't bring him back. Terrible, terrible event. But when you really watch, when you really observe, when you really open your third eye and you watch, you can see that the human being who's sitting on top of him, whether it's always or whether it was just in that moment, that human being wasn't in their physical shell. Another entity, another being, another demonic energy, so to speak, was taking control of that man and forcing him to think that he was in danger and that he was doing the right thing. And because that demon was able to play and use this man like a puppet for its own spiritual agenda, remember, this is a spiritual war, not a physical one. Because it was able to do that now, and because there was another group of demons on the other side filming it, instead of jumping in, doing something, they filmed. Keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. A lot of people will go out and protest. A lot of people will go out and pull their phones out. A lot of people will go out and do all these things, but you know what those same people won't do? They won't actually stand up and fight. Last time I checked, there's more citizens in that scene than there were police. And at that point, if you really stand for something like that, and you're seeing some guy get choked out in front of you, you're not thinking about your own life anymore. If it's really that enraging to you, if you really want to make a difference, you're running up, you're diving on that cop, you're hitting him off, you're giving George Floyd a chance to maybe posture up, change his position so that the situation plays out differently, and you're risking your own life to save another. You know why you're doing that? Because it's going to be filmed, it's going to be on camera. But guess what? They probably won't show something like that on the internet for too long. They'll probably say something like, oh, it's too graphic, so we're gonna pull it down. When instead, that very video is something that people need to see in order to really stand up, in order to really care about each other, in order to really unify. Because that's really the goal at the end of the day. The interesting thing about what's going on right now as a whole is this Rona, this CV, as we'll call it, because I'm not trying to get my videos taken down either. This CV that's been mysteriously floating around. It seems like the American public, the majority of it, it seems like we're all tired of it. It seems like we're all sick and tired of being forced to do ABC just so that we can live our lives normally, right? We're sick and tired of being forced. We just want to go back to being normal. And a part deep down in me feels like people who were never going to come together were starting to come together. People who you never thought would be friends were starting to become friends. People who you never thought would wake up were starting to wake up. Think about it. Tons of time alone, tons of time at home, isolated, with your family. You're really gonna start to learn what battles you need to fight for yourself. You're really gonna start to become more aware. You're really gonna start to ascend. Your energy is really gonna start to raise when you're taking yourself out of a system that keeps you in pattern after pattern after pattern. Monday work, Tuesday work, Wednesday work, Thursday work, Friday work, get drunk, get fucked up, go to sleep, wake up late Saturday, get fucked up all day, wake up, go to sleep, wake up, Sunday, slow day, maybe get some work done, prepare for Monday. And then the cycle continues. This situation with the Rona, this has broken that cycle. People are out of their normal patterns and they're finding new ones. They're finding ones that are more positive. Every day, people are waking up. But media, social media, TV media, they're not gonna put that in your face. They're gonna put the most scary, the most fearful, the most intense thing in your face. Why? Because the more people who stay scared, the harder it becomes for those people to ascend. And they don't want everyone realizing what's going on, because once everyone realizes what's really going on, we won't be rioting anymore. We'll know exactly where to go, and people will be ready to go. So right now, just stop rioting, because what you're doing by rioting is you're creating a situation where secret agents can infiltrate and cause problems and instigate situations. So what about peaceful protests, right? None of those either. No peaceful protests. None. Because a peaceful protest can easily be turned into a riot. It can easily be turned into something more. All it takes is for one person Imagine Group A and Group B, the minority and the majority, out on, in front of a building, in front of an important landmark, protesting something that's noble. Imagine that. They're coming together and they're protesting. And imagine someone from Group C, who's also in that crowd, protesting, pretends to start a fight with someone who looks different than him. So boom, now this man is in the crowd starting a fight on purpose. He's not a part of Group B and A, but now he's starting to fight with Group A. And now people from Group C are jumping in. Or I should say, now that someone from Group C and someone from Group A are arguing, bickering, someone from Group B might join in. And now someone else from Group A might join in. And before you know it, Group A and B are fighting, distracted, arguing, whatever the case may be. That's it. That's all it takes. And then division is broken. Imagine being at a peaceful protest, and behind you, off in the distance, while everyone is away from home, decides that they're just going to light a fire to all of the homes in the area, right? Imagine someone from Group C doing that during a protest where people from Group A and B are all out protesting something that Group C initially did, right? That whole neighborhood burns down. News coverage, more fear, more outrage, and it's a very slippery slope to get to the point of martial law. It's a very slippery slope to get to the point of, if you come outside, you're gonna get shot with a fucking non-lethal pellet. Because that's, in certain places, that's happening. So, America, I would suggest that we stop protesting, stop being keyboard warriors. To be honest, if you want my best piece of advice, I would go on a social media detox for a while. I would take this next month, this whole summer, go on a social media detox. You can create content, you just can't consume it. Create as much content as you want, put it out, entertain your friends and family, just have fun. Just stop thinking about being angry. Being angry, that's a low vibration. They want that vibration. They feed on that vibration. It's interesting because it's like there's Group A and B that we need to unify to be a great country, right? There's Group C that keeps them divided to keep control of the country, right? And there's Group E, and they live somewhere completely different. And Group E just sits and watches our planet bicker and fight as they low-key pull the strings. And Group E will continue to pull strings, continue to create scenarios where you're forced to be angry, upset, sad, anything low vibrational. And then Group E will harvest that energy and eat it. So that's the end of this video. Just stop protesting. Just chill. Just go talk to your best friend of another race. When something like this happens, go talk to your best friend of another race and just try to understand each other. Try to understand each other's points of views. They don't have to be the same point of view, but just try to understand people. Try to understand that nobody really wants to be like that anymore. Nobody really wants to be segregated and separated. It is natural human condition to want to be unified, to want to be together, to want to be one. So tap into that. Until next time, peace.